Good day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we will learn the limit of a function. Okay, so in basic calculus for grade 11, this is the very first topic in the list of topics included in basic calculus. Okay, our main objective for this video is you will be able to illustrate the limit of a function using a table of values. Okay, for this video, you will be able to give the limit using table of values. What are the essential skills? You need to know what's a function, no? Ano ba ang function? If you don't know yet, just read, no? There are many references, there are many videos on YouTube. And of course, you must be motivated. You must have that motivated self. Now, again, if you are not motivated in watching the video or in learning something, then stop because it's useless. No, you will just listen without understanding. But if you are now motivated, then watch from start to end. Okay, so let's start. Ah, First, let me introduce to you, these two mathematicians. They were the two mathematicians cited as the contributor for the idea or for the development of calculus. We have Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Okay, you can search them, no, if you want details about these mathematicians, but they are the two mathematicians in the development of calculus. Diba? We must be thankful because of them. Now, let's talk first about limits. When we say limits, these are backbones of calculus. So, when a human being doesn't have a backbone, meaning we cannot stand, 'di ba? Imagine, you don't have backbones. So, sige, paano ka maglakad? Paano ka tumayo? 'Di ba? So, limits are considered as the backbone of calculus. You will find later or sooner why do we consider limits as the backbone of this subject matter of calculus as a whole. Because when I say calculus, it's the mathematics of change. Again, we will know later or sooner why do we define these things. Okay? So, first, let me ask you, if you are in an art exhibit, where will you stand? Saan ka ba tatayo? Doon ka ba sa likod ng art? Or papasok ka talaga sa art? 'Di ba? Ikaw bahala kung gusto mong pumasok, pero baka mapalabas ka agad-agad. 'Di ba? Here, baka dito ka papasok. Okay? So, usually, you will go to the closest part, pero hindi talaga naman nose to nose mo na ito si painting ni si girl na to, 'di ba? You go to the closest of this para makita mo ang detail, pero hindi ka papasok, hindi ka pupunta sa likod, 'di ba? So, baka mapagalitan ka pa kung papasok ka. Pero kung may magic ka, pumasok. Here, sa swimming contest, where will you sit? Kung gusto mo, kung papapil ka, lumangoy ka dito din, 'di ba? Kung gusto mo, lumangoy ka din para mapakita mo ang talent mo kasi hindi mo na-expose. Pero just kidding, no, ikaw gusto mo talagang makapwesto dito sa pinakamalapit, sa bleacher na pinakamalapit sa scene, 'di ba? Hindi mo gusto doon na talaga doon, or ikaw kung you have clear vision, so it's better kung doon ka if gusto mo. Pero if you want to see the clear points or sa swimmer or sa idol mo, so dito ka talaga sa pinakamalapit na point. Right? Kung basketball ito, dito ka sa pinakamalapit pero hindi ka papasok doon sa court, 'di ba? You are not part, you are not a player. So, diyan ka lang pwede. Now, in a relationship, where will you situate yourself? Ikaw, if ever, may boyfriend ka, may girlfriend ka. So, ano ba? Dapat bang harutin mo all the time? O dapat ba ganyan? Diba? Especially if you are senior high school or high school students or elementary students. Of course, there should be limit, no, sa relationship nyo. Holding hands lang, baka pwede sa senior high school, no? Sa college, baka pwede na sa kiss on cheek. Pero, of course, may mga limits set by the teachers or your parents. Baka pag alam ng parents nyo na kipag holding hands tapos the teachers will tell your parents about this, ay of course, baka hindi ka na makakauwing complete pang backbone. Pero, no, just kidding. But of course, in a relationship, dapat may limit kayo, no? You will set the limit sa boyfriend mo, sa girlfriend mo. How about your dreams? Saan ang limit nyo sa dreams? Diba? So, kung ikaw, baka sabihin mo, para graduation lang, for compliance lang sa calculus na pumasa lang, that's it lang. No, no. I cannot say that nga no, but I'm encouraging you to do not limit, no, do not put limit of your dreams on your dreams. Dapat, kung nakatapos ka na, tapos nakapasa na ng board exam, naka-work na, o mag-dream ka na naman na maka-MS, mag-dream ka na naman na maka-PhD, mag-dream ka na naman ng something new. Okay? Because if you will stop dreaming, so, hindi ka na mag-i-improve pa sa life. Kasi, you are contented na kasi sa certain thing na yan. Example, pang BS lang. I'm not saying BS lang ha. So, example, yan lang talagang gusto mo and achieve mo na. And if you're happy, maybe, okay. If you're happy, then be it. Kasi happiness naman is the key, 'di ba? Kasi if you're comparing to others na ang taas na na-reach pero hindi happy naman, 'di ba? Baka yan din ang point nyo. Pero sa dreams, so ikaw na bahala. Where are your limits kaya sa dreams mo? Okay, ako gusto ko maging president ng Philippines. Charmos General. Okay, so you have your limits. Okay, now what if we talk about function? Kanina, we're talking about in an art exhibit, sa swimming pool, sa relationship, sa dreams. Now ngayon, we're talking about a function because in mathematics, we usually talk about function. We don't talk about art exhibit or the swimming pool, di ba? Basically, we talk about function. So, the limit of a function describes how a function behaves as the independent variable. So, wag niyong kalimutan, independent, the x gets closer and closer to a certain number. So, you may say, kaya pala, sir gave an example earlier kung saan ka tatayo sa art exhibit, kung saan ka pupwesto sa isang swimming contest kasi it's just the same concept when we talk about function. We describe how a function behaves as the independent gets closer to a certain number. Okay? So, just a little deep definition. If we let the values of the independent variable approach a certain fixed number, the basic questions asked will be, what happens to the values of a function? Kasi example, in an art exhibit kanina, kung lalapit na lalapit ka sa mukha dun sa babae, di baka masira ang art, baka it will fall down. Tapos masira, ikaw pa yung nakabayad sa 1 million. So, what if it's a function? No. Basic question is, what happens to the values of the function? Will they approach a fixed number? Now, that's our task. That fixed number is the limit of a function. Okay? Well, parang you have the idea. Again, if you don't have the motivated self, or again, if you are not motivated enough to learn, stop from watching this video. Rest for a while. Take your snacks, or take a nap if you want. But again, if you're motivated, continue learning. Okay? So here, this is the very definition. Listen, have your motivated self. Tell yourself to listen. I love to learn limits. I love to learn calculus. Okay? Mind-fooling technique. If you don't know the idea of a function, or if we all don't know at the moment what limit is, but if we are motivated to learn, we will learn. Okay? Consider a function f of a single variable x. Function f with a single variable x. That's the function. So, say, this is the f of x. Yan ang mga makikita mo sa libro, f of x. Consider a constant c. This is just a representation of a constant c, which the variable x will approach. C may or may not be in the domain of f. Okay, later you will know. The limit denoted by L, a big L, is the unique real value that f of x or the function will approach as x approaches c. Okay, so consider a function f of x. Consider a constant c in which the variable x will approach. Then the limit, or L, is the unique. When we say unique, you are unique. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Walang kahalintulad. Diba? You are unique. Nag-iisa lang. Real value of that f of x will approach as x approaches c. In symbols, this is it. So, sir, paano ito basahin, sir? Okay, so this is read as the limit of f of x as x approaches c is L, or is equal to L, equals L. Ganyan. Okay? So kahit sa reading lang, may learning kayo, no, while watching the video. How do we read this? The limit of f of x as x approaches c equals L. Ganyan. Kahit yan lang muna ang learning sa first watch nyo sa video na to. Sa second watch, ang definition na. Sa third na, ang concept na talaga. Okay? So, example. Okay, this one. Looking at the table of values, because our main objective for today is to investigate or to find the limit using the table of values. You may say, sir, I have heard some theorems na my theorems na why do we use, or why do we consider teaching or learning the table of values? Because when we forget, no, or kung makalimutan man natin ang ang theorems na sinasabi nyo, or graphing na sinasabi nyo, baka may mga ideas na kayo, no? So, we will go back to the very basic process using table of values. No, kasi usually TGT yan. Tables, graphs, theorems. In finding, or in giving the limit of a function. Pero, kung nakalimutan nyo si theorems, hindi mo alam paano pag-graph, ay of course, you will go to the basic one using table of values, TGT. TGT will be learning the three. But first, of course, table of values. Anong table of values, sir? Of course, we will have tables. O kung ganito ang pagka-drawing mo sa tables, why not? Okay, ganyan lang talaga. Ganyan lang ang concept. Okay, so first, find the limit. O sige, I want you to read this at home. Read with me. Okay, go. The limit of 1 plus 3x as x approaches 2. We will find the limit. Okay, let us read. Investigate the limit of x squared plus 1 as x approaches negative 1. Okay, read with me para kahit reading lang. Like what I said in the first watch, or in the first, learn, no, ito ang first learning nyo sa video ko, ang reading. Give the limit of the absolute value of x as x approaches to 0, and investigate the limit of f of x as x approaches 4, in which the f of x is a piecewise function. I'll explain later. Okay, now let's have example number 1. Find the limit of 1 plus 3 of x as x approaches 2. Okay, using table of values, guys, we will have values from the left and from the right. Okay, baka sabihin nyo, anong ibig sabihin ng values from the left and from the right? Okay, we will draw a number line. Okay, ito, si number line. Diba, ang alam nyo na number line, yung si 0, ang nasa center, negative 1, negative 2, while here, 1, 2, 3, diba? Okay, so ito ang basihan po sa pag-choose ng values. Okay, again, if you know about the theorems, so okay. Pero baka makalimutan mo sa mga examples na difficult na. So you will go to table of values. No, ito talagang pinaka-basic na magamit nyo. Okay, so now, baka sabihin nyo, sir, paano yan? Okay, so from the left. Anong mga values from the left? So, ito si 2. This is the 2. So, from the left, here, ito na mga values. Diba? Left ni 2. So, ito. So, ano ang gagamitin mo na mga values na pwede mong masulat dito? Okay, ano kaya? So, you will choose arbitrary points kasi nga, like sa art exhibit kanina, kung ikaw ang viewer, so saan ka pupunta? Saan ang limit mo? So, doon ka sa pinaka-closest na part. Pero hindi ka talaga mag-a-approach doon sa art itself. Hindi mo ilagay ang mukha mo doon sa art. 'Di ba? So, the same concept yan. You will find values, values of x, no, point of x from the left of 2, pero hindi talaga aabot kay 2. Okay? So, si 1. Okay, 1. Okay, so, kung 1 si x, isubstitute lang. So, 1 plus 3 times x. Oh, it's 4. So, 4 ang answer mo dito. Okay? Kung 1.4 si x, use your calculator ha. So, this is 1 plus 3 times 1.4. So, the answer is 5.2. Okay. Kung 1.7, it's 6.1. Kung 1.9, 6.7. Kung 1.997, 6.991. Kung 1.9999, 6.9997. Okay, and you will see that the pattern or the values as we have x approaches to 2 but not the 2 ha. Kay like sa sinasabi natin kanina, hindi ka talaga papasok doon sa art. Hindi mo talaga i-face to face yung inustunos yung babae doon sa picture. So, mag-a-approach ka lang doon pero not that value itself, not that 2. O here, 1.999 lang ta. Baka sabihin nyo, sir, sino nag-choose ng mga points? Ikaw or ako or sino na mag-answer? Pwede. So, kung sasabihin mo, if you will say, sir, is it okay to choose 10? Yes, kung baka gagamitin mong 10 dito. Ikaw bahala. 10. So, sa pag-substitute mo, 1 plus 3 times 10, 31. Diba? Mas difficult na. Mas bigger number na. So, sabihin mo, 8 ako, sir. 8, tapos 7, tapos 6, tapos 5, tapos 4. Ang layo pa sa 2. So, if I were you, you choose the closest points of our constant. Okay? So, you may say, yes, arbitrary po ito, pero dapat magpili ka na ng pinakamalapit na points. Para, of course, the values, no, para sa values, 4, 5.2, 6.1, 6.7, 6.991, 6.99997, and you will realize that it approaches to a certain fixed value, which is 7. Kung gagamitin mo ang sinabi mo kanina na certain 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, ang layo pa dito, you will not see the pattern. Try it yourself. Hindi mo magagamit. Kung sabihin mo, sir, kung gagamitin ko negative 2, negative 1, o di ba parang wrong pang ang values na nagamit natin, di ba? It's from the left pa pala. So kung itong ginamit mo, negative 2 sir, negative 1, yes, you can. But again, we are particular in getting the closest value para makita natin kung saan talaga mag-a-approach si limit. si function, tapos which we will consider the limit. Okay, how about from the right? Sige, so hindi lang kasi guys, in using table of values, you will not just use values from the left. It should be also from the right. Okay, so from the right. But again, you have your number line ka na naman, may number line ka na So, anong ibig sabihin nito? So, you will find values from the right. So, dito. So, 3, di ba? So, we will use 3, 2.5, ito, 2.5 dito. Tapos, 2.2, 2.1, 2.03, 2.05. You may ask, sir, dapat bang 6 na arbitrary points? Actually, there are many examples, no, in books that use 6 arbitrary points, may iba 5, may iba 4. Ikaw lang. So kung it's an examination, tapos nakalimutan mo talaga ang mga theorems, and you will go back to this very process, to this simple process, so 4 lang gamitin mo. Pero, use the closest points. So, ang closest ng 2 from the right, so 3, 2.5. So, i-substitute natin yan sa f of x. Ito, 3 plus 3 times 3, it's 10. Oh, so, it's 10. So, i-continue ko na lang ha. This is 8.5. Check it using your calculator. Dapat, in listening for math discussions, dapat hindi lang nakikinig. May notebook ka rin dyan. May calculator. Okay? Because if you will just listen, ay matatanggal yan pag mag-snacks ka na. Wa na. O remove na. Remove from the group. Okay, so you try it. Then, makikita mo sa pattern that it approaches to 7 also. Now, baka sabihin mo, ay, bakit ganyan? Dapat ba, sir, na ang values from the left, tapos ang from the, right na to. Thank you. This is from the right. Dapat ba talaga, sir, na the same lang? Now, let's have, okay, stop this muna, stop at this moment. Let's have the definition. Here, if x approaches c from the left or through values less than c, ito tong kaninang constant na si 2 that we're talking about, then we will write it as the limit of f of x as x approaches to the c from the left. This is how we read this, ha? Kahit yan lang muna sa first watch na to. The limit of the function or f of x as x approaches c from the left. Ang sign dyan, negative. If x approaches c from the right or through the values greater than c, then we will write the limit of f of x as x approaches c from the right. So, positive siya. Again, ang left, negative. From the left, ang right, positive. And this is the very definition of a limit. Furthermore, we say that the limit of f of x as x approaches to c or any constant, kanina 2 tayo, is L. This is the limit, this is the value, if and only if, highlight this, if and only if ang limit of the function from the left is L and the limit of function from the right is L. Meaning, may limit daw kung ang limit from the left is the same sa limit from the right. So sa example kanina, ang limit from the left is 7, ang from the right ay 7, then the limit is 7. Okay, that's why I showed you step by step. No, napakita natin paano nag-7 ang values. Ang value, from the left, then from the right. Because that's the definition of a limit. If and only if. Sabihin nyo, sir, what if kanina from the right, nagiging 9 yon or naging 9? May limit ba tayo? Wala na. From the definition itself, if and only if we have same values from the left and from the right. We'll have example later. Okay?